You've been trying to stay consistent for as long as you can remember. But for whatever reason, you always slip. You end up scrolling on TikTok again, and you end up revisiting those sites that you said you'd never go on again. You hate it, yet it keeps happening. I'm going to be honest, the truth is, consistency is never about being perfect. What it's about is it's about learning to show up even when you don't want to. What you need to do right now is change the meaning of consistency. Most people fail because they misunderstand what consistency really is. I'd argue to say that you need mistakes to be consistent, and without mistakes, you don't actually become consistent because you never actually had to go through any trials or tribulations. You need to see consistency as continuing to go through and continuing to push even when things slip up. It's not being perfect, it's not making sure you hit the target every time. It's standing back up as soon as you slip. And the strongest people are the people that continue to get up even after they fall. And another thing I want to touch on is that you lose consistency because of dopamine. And the reason why you lose control and the reason why you lose consistency because of dopamine is because you don't control where it actually goes. You wake up, you grab your phone, you scroll, you bust one in the morning, and then you wonder why you have no motivation and no energy for the day. You waste your limited dopamine on small pleasures that don't actually contribute to anything realistic. There's this concept I created, and it's something called dopamine points. And what they are is basically at the start of the day, you might start off with 100 dopamine points or 200 dopamine points. The more productive you are, the more dopamine points you're gonna have. But let's say you have 100 dopamines per day. If you choose to scroll on TikTok and eat junk food and watch pornography and do all these bad habits, you're literally sapping dopamine points. So for example, let's say every 10 TikToks you scroll, you lose 15 dopamine points. If you've scrolled for about an hour, you've easily lost all your dopamine points for the day. And it's the same with every other bad habit. So what you need to understand is that you have a finite amount of dopamine per day, and you need to ensure that you use it for the right things. So for example, instead of wasting dopamine eating junk food and watching porn and doing all these bad habits, you could easily use that dopamine towards going to the gym, doing a cold shower, doing something that you don't want to do that's actually going to benefit your life forwards. You could even use it for a deep work block, which is what I tend to do whenever I'm working, and I've always found success doing that. And what ends up happening is because you fried your dopamine and your brain points in the morning, you end up being tired and lazy in the afternoon. By the time it's time for you to build a habit or do some work, you physically can't because your brain's just exhausted. You've used up all your dopamine and you're no longer able to do the work you've set out to do. If you're able to redirect the dopamine you're using for bad habits, so for example, if you're spending 5 minutes scrolling in the morning, if you redirect the dopamine from scrolling towards doing some work for a school project or for going to the gym, your life is going to change so much and you're actually going to become way more successful than you are now. You'll finally start winning, you're going to start to smile more, and you're going to get the success you've always deserved. Now I've spoken about why you lose consistency, I now want to go into action step that's actually going to build you up and make you more disciplined. I'm going to give you 3 exact steps that's not only going to rebuild your discipline, but it's going to make you more consistent and it's going to make your future self happy. The number one thing I'd say to do is lower the bar. Make it super easy for you to achieve the goal or the mission you've set for yourself. For example, if you want to start a habit of reading, instead of reading multiple chapters a day and reading loads and loads of pages, just literally just start off with one. I know that sounds crazy, but instead of jumping into reading chapters and chapters and chapters, start reading 1 page a day. It's so simple and it's what I did, and it absolutely changed everything for me. If you want to read, just commit to 1 page. It's not about how many pages you read or how consistent you are. It's about building the identity that's going to make you successful in the future. Every page you read and each day you stay consistent is you telling your brain, this is the kind of person I'm becoming, and this is the person who likes to read. You quite literally tell yourself, I am now a person who reads and doesn't waste time. The next thing I want you to do is create a physical streak. Like I remember on social media when I used to use Snapchat back in the day, there used to be like this streak function. I think that's actually a pretty good thing, the streak function, and not the streak function on Snap obviously, but crossing it over to real life into other things. And create a physical habit tracker, create a real life streak for goals that are actually going to benefit you and move your life forwards. Create a physical habit tracker, whether that's on a piece of paper, which is what I'd highly recommend, or even a notes file, and just write down the one habit you're going to do. What I'm going to do now is I'm literally just going to throw up a picture of a habit tracker that I've made that you can copy if you want. Just get a piece of paper and just follow what I've done and then just stick it up on the wall. Or you can do it in notes, but I highly recommend the physical paper method. And this moves me on to my third point, and it's that you need to reward progress and not distractions. What I mean by this is celebrate the days you show up. For example, if you've been consistent for a week, reward yourself. Allow yourself to feel happy. Allow yourself to smile. Allow yourself to actually be accomplished with what you've been able to achieve. And you can even tell a friend, set up an accountability system with a friend. So for example, if you're going to set up a new habit like reading or going to the gym, literally tell a friend, say, look, I'm starting this new habit and I want to stay accountable. Can you help me? Whenever your friend congratulates you or you basically get the response that you're looking for, you get dopamine. And not only do you get dopamine, but you get a small sense of pride because you're literally building a positive feedback loop between you and the other person. So that positive feedback loop you've just built keeps you moving forwards and it actually makes you more successful in the long run. The thing is, here's what I really wish someone told me. If you fall off, it is completely okay. I've fallen off and I know loads of people who have fallen off. It's not about falling off, it's about trying to regain momentum as quickly as possible. So for example, if you've cheated on your diet and you've ate the wrong foods, it's not about letting it go and letting it free fall for the next few days. It's about literally standing back up and moving back on with what you were supposed to be doing. I want to give you a challenge now. The challenge I want to give now links onto what I mentioned before. However, there's a bit of a twist. It's super important and it's going to really show me who's actually wanting success and who just is okay living the way they are. It's going to separate the winners from the losers and it's going to separate the ones that take action and the ones that don't. And I want you to pick one habit. I want you to pick one habit right now. You probably had a few habits in your head that you're thinking of, whether it's going on walks, getting morning sunlight, meditating, journaling, cold showering. There's so many different habits you can do that you've probably been thinking of, like the gym or starting a new diet or doing anything, right? It doesn't matter. Or starting a revision or starting a study program. It doesn't matter. I want you to pick one habit right now and I want you to write it down. Once you've got the habit, I also want you to comment it down below. I want you to say what habit you're doing and I want you to comment it down below. Each day I want you to come back to this video and I want you to either tick or cross in the comment section if you've done the habit. So simply just edit the comment and either put a tick for day one or a cross for day one and come back every single day for the next 30 days. I promise you these 30 days could absolutely change the rest of your life. And not only that, but I will be personally helping you. I'll be motivating you, I'll be in your corner and I'll be responding to every single comment. Also, if you don't have any friends and you're kind of a bit lonely right now, because I know I was before and I know that it's kind of hard being on this journey, then it's totally fine because I've got your back. If you comment down below, I'll respond to the comment, I'll heart it, and I'll make sure I give you the feedback you need so that you can build success and so that you can get to the place you want to be. Your future self is smiling at how far you're going to go, and it's up to you to make that decision. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate if you can like and subscribe. That way you get immediate access to any new piece of content I release. Also like and subscribe so you don't miss the next step in the new series that I'm going to be making very soon. I'm making a new series for young, ambitious guys who are ready to win, who are ready to break free from all the bad habits there is out there. As always, before I go, always remember, always strive for excellence because great things will come your way.